So the last video I made was about our homeschool routine, what a day looks like, and how we work CC memory work into that daily routine. This video I'm going to show you the curriculum that we used for the 2018-2019 school year. Was mostly Sunlight. This year I used Sunlight for history, Bible, language arts, and for science. It was Core E, Intro to American History, Year 2 of 2. So we actually started American history last year, and we ended just before the Civil War. So this school year we picked up at the Civil War and went right on to September 11th and the 2000s. So now we're done with American history. We finished it, and that was really, really interesting. So with that, there's just a lot of really good history books, and that we just read through together, and there's a timeline book that it comes with timeline figures. So as you're reading about certain people and places and time or events,
and they would, see if I can find something recent, they would color like a sticker that came with it and goes with that time period, and then we would stick it in our timeline book. So, for instance, whoops, right here we have 1960s and 1970s, so there's the first moon landing, and there is President Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr., and so they colored it, stuck it on here, and lined it up, and a lot of times I'll do that while I'm reading. With Sunlight, there's a lot of books, good novels, that I read out loud to everybody that tie into what we're learning about in history.
so that's really neat. That's what we did for history. For science, I also used Sunlight. And it's actually, I did Science D this year, which was biology, taxonomy, and human anatomy. That also came with some really good books that we read through together. And then with science, they all had their own worksheets that I had in a binder for them. So we would read, and in the book, what we were supposed to read that day, and then they would answer the questions for that page that we read in their activity sheet. And then I would check it. And the nice thing about Sunlight, and they're not paying me to say this or anything, I just like to use them, and is that they have the schedule all for you. So it tells you every single day what book you're supposed to read, what pages, what questions to answer in the activity sheet, activities to do together, and then notes to discuss with your children about certain topics. And so, and it has that for every single week, for every subject. So that's science and language arts. Language arts was also done with Sunlight this year. So they have lots of novels that they read on their own as readers, and they had their activity sheets for language arts also, which for my younger son was copy work taken out of the books that he was reading. For my older girls, it was dictations taken out of the books that they were reading, and then just other mechanics and creative writing stories and things like that. So lots of really good novels, and I'll throw in a picture of all the books that they read. I have language arts for my girls who are older, and then a different one for my son because he's younger. So there's the spelling schedule, same thing, day 1, 2, 3, and 4. I choose to go with a 4-day schedule because we have other things going on in the week. The book they're reading, what page that they're supposed to read that day, and then, so I don't have to read it too, because I have enough to do. It has discussion, questions, and answers for me to go over with them, and notes about their activity sheet and the answers so I can correct it later. So this is all for me. Schedule notes, questions with the answers, including just regular discussion questions about their book. That's super helpful. So Sunlight is history, language arts, and science. And on to math, if that doesn't get on our way. Okay, so at the beginning of the year, I started with BJU. Okay, my cookies are done. Hold on. All right, they needed a couple more minutes. So for math, my older girls, I started them with BJU, Math 6. I really like this curriculum. There's a lot of things that I really like about it. It gives scripted, word for word instructions for like through the lessons for the teacher to explain things to the student. And then it has their worksheet pages in here with the answers, so it's easy for me to give the lesson and then look at their worksheets to see if they're doing it correctly. So this is what we use for most of the year. Towards the end of the year, it wasn't working very well for one of my daughters. She was very frustrated and got stuck a lot. I enjoyed this. She didn't do very well with it, so kind of towards the end of the year, I switched her. My other daughter finished the year with this. She did fine with the regular workbook type, but my other daughter who was struggling about later mid-year, we switched her to Math UC. So I just went online, I got a placement test. I saw where she would benefit the most, and then I just picked up the curriculum. So I got the book and the tests and the DVD, and she's been liking it much more. It's been working out a lot better for her. My son is doing Right Start. I started him out with Abeka when he was much younger, workbook style. That was not pretty. So we've been with Right Start ever since, and he's loved it. So it's worked out really, really well. It's a different approach, and it uses the abacus, lots of manipulatives. I just have the lessons, and then he has his workbook, and hold on. So this one's a little more teacher intensive, but I'm okay with that. He's really, really good with math. He gets it, he picks it up, pretty much it. There's a whole other book of just math games with cards and other things like that to practice and review and go over the things that he's learned, basic math facts and things like that in a fun way. So it's very active. He likes Right Start. So that's what we did this year for math. And then of course, like I said in my other video, we do foundations memory work. We go over that every single day, and that's pretty much it. That's what we did this last year. It worked out really well. We're going to be sticking with most of it. A couple things are going to change for next year. So that's what we used this last year, and I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments, and I hope to get another video out soon about what our curriculum choices are going to look like for next year. My kids are, I have to think about that for a minute. I have, just to give you an idea of the age of my kids and where we're at, I have I
had the pleasure of meeting one of you at the homeschool convention just a couple weeks ago, and another one of you at the VBS that my kids were going to. So I just wanted to say thanks